Friends, there has been a lot of noise on TikTok. People are shouting that US tariffs have sunk China's factories. Machines are selling, workers are suffering, and some say it's worse than the 2020 pandemic. But wait, is this true or just a TikTok farce? Be it textiles, machines, or small businesses, all are facing the brunt of tariffs. Let's find out the whole story in a sequence in today's video, and also add something new so that you understand the real meaning. First of all, you need to understand what a tariff is. It's very straightforward. It's a tax on goods coming in from outside. In April 2025, the US said it would impose a 145% tariff on all goods coming from China. That is, goods worth 100 rupees are now worth 245 rupees. China retaliated with 125% tariffs on US goods. But now the latest news is that the US has increased the tax on China by 34% more. And in response, China also imposed the same tax. This economic war is shaking both the countries. The US says it can raise tariffs by another 50%, and China says it will fight to the end. But in this war, small factories and traders are suffering the most. Now let's talk about China. On TikTok, people are showing empty factories. The owner of a textile factory in Guangzhou posted a video saying his factory was on the verge of closing. He informed that 6,000 jackets are lying ready, but the orders from the US have stopped. The warehouse is full, and both online-offline sales are stalled. The entire textile industry is in fear. No one is giving orders after hearing 50% tariff. Another TikToker who trades in bulk said he has $50 million worth of orders booked until 2026, but the 34% tax has broken his back. Smaller startups make less of a difference because they send a little bit of stuff, but the profits of big businessmen like us are already thin. It's like punching like a tax. He is now thinking of sending goods through countries like Vietnam. Small businesses are even worse off. On April 6th, a woman named Liu Ting, who runs a laser cutting factory, posted the video. I might have to sell my 30,000 watt machine. The cost of electricity has already crossed the limit. And now tariffs have made the situation worse. Small factories are on the verge of bankruptcy. A TikToker from Chajhang said that his factory does not do foreign business. But there is still tension, because its suppliers, who used to send raw materials abroad, are now selling in the domestic market. This is causing domestic prices to fall, and everyone is pulling each other down. A TikToker in Foshan showed new factories lying empty. Last year there used to be a queue to get a place here. Now there is not a single customer. Quote, the condition of the textile industry is even worse. A TikToker pointed out that orders from the US are just part. But if all the Chinese factories turn to Europe, the domestic market will be crowded. And the sale of the house? It's already weak this year. People are saying I don't have the money. A packing man showed that the work of making cans has also stopped here. This year is like a fireball for the textile industry. It can explode anytime. Some people are saying it's worse than the pandemic. But look at the statistics. Unemployment in China in 2020 was 25%, now only 8%. Yes, there have been losses, but the whole of China is not drowning. The big factories are still running. And what about India? If Chinese goods come less, then mobiles, clothes and electrical goods can be expensive here. For example, 70% of toys in India come from China. If taxes go up, prices can go up by 20 to 30%. But there is also a funny news. If the factories of China stop, then the factories of India will get a chance to shine. Our exports in textiles and electrical goods can increase. In 2024, India had seen a 10% increase in textile exports, and if Make in India gets a further push, it can go up to $50 billion in 2025. You just have to control the prices, otherwise the common people will suffer. This tussle is not new. In 2018, the US imposed 10 to 25% tariffs on China. Even then the factories were shocked, but they managed. Many companies moved to Vietnam, Thailand. Vietnam's exports grew by 20% in 2023, as Chinese companies shifted there. But now the problem is that the US also imposed a 10% tariff on Vietnam. The manager of a headphone factory in Guangzhou said that his new factory in Vietnam had just been built, but now the tariffs had made it worse. Where to go now, Africa? Or go back to China? All are confused. What will be its impact on the world? The price of Chinese goods in the United States will rise. A study says that the prices of shops there can go up by 15 to 20% next year. India will also be affected a little bit because the world markets are interconnected. But if we work smartly, like increasing our factories or trade with ASEAN countries, we can also make a profit. In 2024, India had increased trade with ASEAN by 15%. This trick can work. China is not giving up. It is looking for new markets in Europe and Asia. But there are challenges too. One TikToker pointed out that Guangzhou airport now sees mostly African people, with Westerners missing. In the US, our passports are strictly checked. Some in China are also questioning the government's policies. An old expert wrote that it is wrong to answer tariffs with tariffs. This is an axe to your own feet. But such things are quickly removed. Traders are scared. The tariffs wiped out all the profits, said one online trader. Now comes the time of hunger and instability. Some people are even afraid that this tariff war will not turn into a real war. But experts say China still has a ways to go. It can find a different path in technology and finance, though not an easy one. So what's the truth about TikTok? Yes, the tariffs hit China hard. Small factories are closing, machines are selling, and the textile industry is in tension. But is it all over? This is drama. China is still the manufacturing hub of the world. Our danger meter says 40% is the risk. There are losses, but there are also opportunities. This is a big opportunity for India. If we strengthen our factories, we can dominate the market. A funny thing, if we play it right, India's exports can cross $100 billion by 2026. Friends, tariffs have caused a stir in the world, but there is no need to be afraid. China has been killed, but it's time for India to shine. What do you think, prices will skyrocket or India will make a splash in the market? Tell us in the comments.